Inside Harrogate Town's journey from £1,600 budget to FA Cup underdogs. Football can be a fickle sport, and the fortunes of a club can change in the blink of an eye. Once upon a time, Portsmouth FC were a Premier League mainstay with Harry Redknapp at the helm, and they even conquered the FA Cup in 2008. A place in Europe beckoned, and for one night only the eyes of the continent fell on Fratton Park as Ronaldinho and Kaká came to town. But that was as good as it got for Pompey, and their subsequent fall from the brink and back has been well documented. The fortunes, or even existence, of Harrogate Town would have been a far thought for Portsmouth fans on that evening. In fact, a couple of days later, from that evening, 13 years ago, Harrogate Town welcomed Gainsborough Trinity to North Yorkshire. Both sides were in the Blue Square Conference North, the 8th tier of English football, and Harrogate were battered 3-0. It was the latest result in a series of scorelines that would condemn the Sulphurites for another campaign full of mid-table mediocrity. A season that, in turn, would end up welcoming the arrival of a seasoned defender in the twilight of his semi-professional career. Simon Weaver. How far can Harrogate Town go in this season's FA Cup? Let us know in the comments section. Weaver was still in the dugout last month when the Sulphurites travelled down south to face Portsmouth. We were fully aware on the coach down to Portsmouth that this was going to be a big challenge, Weaver told Daily Star Sport. Big setup against very good players who are of, by and large, a higher pedigree throughout the squad than what we had on the pitch. However, Harrogate were unfazed, and a 95th-minute winner through Jack Diamond booked them a spot in the third round. We thought we could cause them problems, Weaver added. So while we knew it was a giant killing, because of their history, some of it is recent history. We've still got characters in there who are aspiring to play at higher levels. And just because you haven't got the history and the pedigree doesn't mean to say you can't get there someday soon. Harrogate's famous win at Fratton Park booked the Yorkshire side another trip down south. This time against Luton Town. Luton, like Harrogate, have been on an upward march ever since the Hatters earned promotion from non-league football in 2014. The Hatters' stay in League Two didn't last long, and in 2017 they were promoted to League One before a second successive promotion propelled Luton to the Championship. They've done an amazing job, Luton, and they have a rich history. They've gone on a trajectory from the National League to the Championship. It's been dreamlike their rise from that, and that's been one of the real feel-good stories from recent years in football. However, Harrogate's rise in recent years has seen the club transform into an almost unrecognizable entity from when Weaver first joined as a player-manager in 2008. We just had two players when I was appointed by Bill Fotherby in his lounge in Harrogate, he said. Weaver, who was winding down his playing career, couldn't believe he was handed the role after only wanting to try and gain some interview experience initially. I thought, why me? Why is he taking a chance on me? And I realized no experienced manager in their right mind would want the job. There were no players and very little budget. We had £1,600 to get a physio, an assistant manager, and a playing squad. And the obstacles didn't stop there for the Yorkshireman. It was very hard to sell the dream to players with a month to go until the season started with no players and no training facilities. It was a battle. We used to train for an hour a week in a gymnasium at Boston Spa in Wetherby, and we weren't allowed on the pitch. The old groundsman said no to playing on the pitch, and it was difficult. Sometimes we had to jump the wall and play on the pitch, making it muddier than it already was. And with the side struggling to scrape a matchday squad together, Weaver was forced to call in favors from mates. He added, "One of my first phone calls was to Matt Bloom, who played at Lincoln with me, and we were best pals. I said, I'm in my hour of need here, can you help me? And he said, yeah, go on then." Others followed Bloom, and Weaver recalled having players sleeping on his lounge floor after playing for Harrogate. Weaver's dad, Irving Weaver, bought the club in his second season as coach, and the father-son duo began to lay the foundations that would see them leave non-league football. The installation of a 3G pitch was the turning point. We had our own training facilities while being full-time, and in the first year we went up to the National League. While in the second season, we finished in the playoffs in the National League itself. We had a full-time Mincet. Harrogate were second in the league when COVID brought the world to a halt. It was a nervous time for Weaver, who was unsure if the season, which was the best in Harrogate's history, was going to be ruled null and void. However, fortune was on Harrogate's side when the National League announced the playoffs were going ahead, leaving the Yorkshire side 2 games away from history. Behind closed doors at Wembley, the underdogs toppled Notts County in a brilliant performance to book their first ever spot in the Football League. All roads lead to Luton for Harrogate. It's a tough challenge, but we've seen cup upsets. And I think that's the draw of the FA Cup that you still never do you?